Okay, broadcast. Let's see if this is going to work. I think that it is. All right, I think I'm on, Maddie. All right, so good evening for all of you people that have joined. We're going to get right started here. Please excuse if I'm a little awkward with this new webinar format, but I'm doing the best we can here. We're going to get on, and tonight we're going to talk about the book, Beauty Beyond Skin Deep, and we're going through the liver portion of the book. And so I kind of, when I was putting the class together, I sort of thought that what I would do is go through some of the slides that I have. I have created a PowerPoint for you people that are leaders in building a downline. It is a PowerPoint, thank you, Maddie. It is a PowerPoint that that is going to talk about the liver portion, and it's a very simplistic way to be able to get your team members and people that are in your organization using other things other than just the oils. I mean, certainly we know the oils have a tremendous value, and we are going to talk some about that tonight. But what the PowerPoint is created for is to show how many things Young Living has. You know, we're not just an essential oil company, we're a lifestyle company. And we have things from supplements, we have things for animals, babies, and everything in between. So some of the slides that I'm going to use tonight are in the PowerPoint that you'll find if you go to drseleme.com, and others are not, and we're just going to kind of talk a little bit about everything. I think if most of you, if I understand correctly, the way that the webinar portion of this works is there is a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. You're not going to be able to unmute yourself or talk, but you will be able to hear me. And if you want to ask a question, just go to the Q&A at the bottom of the screen and type in the question, and hopefully I'll see it. If I don't see it, I think there's also a way for you to raise your hand, and we'll just get started from there. So anyway, what we're going to talk about today is a little bit of face diagnosis and the reason why face diagnosis works. This is not something that I created on my own. This is something that has been handed down for thousands of years. It's Chinese medicine. In fact, there are some places in China that if you go and you have certain facial characteristics, they won't hire you. Or if they do hire you, they will decide what part of the company you belong in based on how big your ears are, based on the lines on your face. So there are a lot of things to glean about somebody's face. It's not just about the physical health, it's also about your personality characteristics as well. But tonight we're just going to be talking about physical health and certain aspects of it, how you might want to use some of the Young Living supplementals and the oils as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and give me just a minute to figure this out too. Hopefully it won't take me too long to do this. Give me just a minute here. Share. Okay, there we go. And we're going to go to this here. Is that right? Yes. Okay. I think this is right. Oh no, this is the actual PowerPoint that I've created for you guys. Hang on one second, not this one. Here we go. Okay. And so I'm hoping that you guys are looking right now at a picture of the liver meridian in the book. And if you're not, if somebody can let me know that you're not looking at a picture of the liver meridian, I'm pretty sure that that's what is up there. So basically what we've got is this is a snapshot of the liver. You see that the liver, there's 14 points on the liver. It runs all the way from the big toe all the way up to the bottom of the, oh, there's a Q&A, hang on already. It is showing the disclaimer. Oh, still. Okay, thank you, Allison. It's still showing the disclaimer. Give me a second, guys. Let's try this again. I think I clicked on the wrong one. Oh, okay. Let me try this one. Okay, is that better now? Hopefully it's showing the liver. And if somebody can yes, thank you, Allison. This is definitely a new form for me doing this. So the liver is the liver meridian. There are energetic lines that are invisible, you know, and people have asked me when we talk about the liver or the gallbladder, they say, well, I don't have a gallbladder, so does that mean I don't have a gallbladder meridian? No, it doesn't. It still means the energy is very much alive and well. And in fact, the fact that you might not have a gallbladder or perhaps missing a kidney or something of that nature means you need to pay more attention to those invisible lines. So at any rate, these are liver meridian points. And in acupuncture and some of the other things that we do, the better you know the liver meridian, the more you might be able to zero in on a point that you want to stimulate to get a certain response from the body. And we are going to talk about one of those points in just a minute. But we go over to the physical symptom area and we can see that the liver is basically represented on the face. And the way it works is, you know, there are, you know, a certain amount of main acupuncture meridians, but there are hundreds of other small meridians that connect and go into different parts of the body. And that's what leads to this part of the area, the liver being represented here and the gallbladder over the eyebrows. So because the major liver meridian feeds into the small meridians. So physical symptoms, what might you see if you're having a liver problem? On the face, you might see liver spots. And we all know that's not just the face, that can also be on the hands as well. So anywhere the skin will start to emote toxins, you're going to see, and that's basically what the skin does, is it's helping the liver get the toxins out. If the liver is too congested or sluggish and not able to release the acidic toxins, it'll come out on the face and the skin. Shows up in the fingernails as well, and the eyebrows and the space between the eyebrows, as well as the whites of the eyes. You can see this picture of the woman at the bottom of the screen. Those two lines in between her eyebrows are definitely related to something going on in the liver. Could be too rich of food. And this woman, while we're at it, and I'll go ahead and just point it out because we're going to talk about gallbladder next month. Above her eye, below her eyebrows, it's puffy and swollen, and that's kind of a classic sign for a gallbladder meridian. The liver and the gallbladder are paired organs. One is a solid organ, the other one is a hollow organ, and that does make a difference in Chinese medicine as well. So they go together. If somebody's having a gallbladder problem, it tells me that probably the liver is having an issue with its phase 1 or phase 2 detoxification as well, and vice versa. So we also, most of us know about what the VitaFlex points are. This is the point on the bottom of the feet. If you want to get that specific in some of the oils, you certainly can, exactly in that point where the liver is. I personally, when I'm using the VitaFlex points, I just slather it all over, but make sure that I get that spot especially well. These are like electrical circuits, and most things in the body are all related to electricity, even thoughts. So it is important to stimulate that. So that's a VitaFlex point for the liver. If you're somebody who's gotten the book, Beauty Beyond Skin Deep, you'll see that we do this for all the major acupuncture meridians. We break it down to the spleen, the liver, the gallbladder, the small intestine, so on and so forth. So what does the liver do exactly? The liver is pretty important. I remember reading a book one time where it talked about, it said that the liver, it means live, you know, you're living. And that is true, because without the liver function, you cease to exist. It's not like one of those things where you can take the spleen out or the appendix out or take one kidney. Without the liver, you cease to exist. And this is the reason why. It's responsible for bile drainage. And what bile does is basically, it's an emulsifier. Anytime you eat fat, your liver is going to create bile so that it can emulsify. I've often used the example, if you try to, and we all have, clean grease off a greasy pan, that if you didn't have soap, you would never get the grease off. What the soap's job is to do is to break down the fat. And that's exactly what bile does. It breaks down the fat. That's important because fat is how toxins circulate and get out of the body. And you'll see in a minute why I suggest you use the omega-3s, because it's very important to get the toxins out of the body using a fat carrier. So that's what bile does. It helps you break down the fat and get it out of the body. Blood glucose regulation, we're talking about things like diabetes. We're talking about hypoglycemia, hyperglycemia, things of that nature. Drinking a cup of coffee on an empty stomach sometimes will put people into, all of a sudden they crave sugar because it drops your insulin. Liver is responsible for all of that. Many times with my patients that have come in with diabetes, I focus on the liver, not necessarily the pancreas and what it's doing. So that's one of the things it does. Synthesis and storage of amino acids, proteins, vitamins, and fats. Of course, all the body is made from proteins. We need vitamins and fat. We need vitamins and fats as well. And we do need fat. Fats are responsible, they are the base of the hormone tree to create more hormones. So people that are on anti-cholesterol drugs, sometimes what you'll find is that the cholesterol does drop so low that they actually get depressed because they don't have any cholesterol that's a building block to make more hormones. So we need to be aware of that as well. Of course, detoxification, we're all well aware of that. And blood circulation and filtration. All the liver is just a big, giant filter. Every single thing you put in your body has to go through the liver. It's why we're all so crazy for Young Living, because we know their products are pure and clean. They're not going to have to detoxify any pesticides or herbicides or anything like that. So that's, you know, kudos for us and our liver function using Young Living. So the next area that I want to go to is this point right on your toe, and that is called liver 3. And the reason why it is very important, it resolves stagnation and tonifies the yin part of your body, the female energy part of your body. It's good for any kind of liver stagnation. It's good for headaches, dizziness, canker sores. They call it the Tai Chong point. It is liver 3. It's probably one of the most well-known points that acupuncturists and people that just want to detoxify. And my first book, Foundation of Youth, I have this as one of the areas that you stimulate. Just you find the big toe and the second toe, and then just go about an inch down, and you can put oil on that spot. You can rub that spot counterclockwise for 1 to 3 minutes on both sides of your feet in order to bring the liver energy or liver channel up. This is good if you have red, swollen, painful eyes, anybody that has menstrual issues, from a blood deficiency. So there are a lot of different reasons why we use liver 3. And so that one, I would make a note of that one for sure. And you can, you can put GLF, you can put any of the helichrysum, you can put Aroma Life, anything where you want to increase or help support circulation. That's a really great spot to do that at. Let me go back to my screen here for a sec. Okay. The next spot, the next thing we're going to talk about is the ORAC counts of some of the essential oils. The oxygen-free radical count. Basically, all that really means is what is the oil's ability to be able to attack and scavenge free radicals. Free radicals are things that go loose in your body and have the ability to do damage to cells and create mutations within the cell and cause cancers and things of that nature. So these are really good to help support the body's immune system. And I like the fact that, in this list, clove is number 1. You know, you think about one of the biggest selling products Young Living has, their flagship product is Thieves. And if you look at this list, clove is at the top of the list, and so is cinnamon bark, and so is eucalyptus, and so is rosemary. All of those things are in the Thieves product. So this is an excellent, if you did nothing but take 1 drop of clove and Clove Vitality in a glass of water or in food in the morning every single day or every other day, because we don't necessarily want to always expose ourselves to the same essential oils. We don't want our bodies getting too used to anything. The good news is that, you know, every single bottle is slightly different, so it's not, you know, in terms of its molecular weight and how the body sees it, but still it's good to switch it up. Thyme is another one of my favorite ones. I love thyme. It is a great support for your immune system. And so these two together, oregano, same thing. I use that often to support antimicrobial events in the body and promote the immune system. So you can just look down this list, you know, and see the ORAC counts of all the different Young Living. Lemongrass is a wonderful one to maintain a healthy lymphatic system. In fact, I use lemongrass often in my armpits. You know, I know we just have this wonderful new, we've got this wonderful new deodorant, but I often make my own deodorant by just mixing a little bit of my rose hips oil. And I might, because I'm always so running around like a chicken with my head cut off, I might just take one. This is how I do it, literally. I take 1 or 2 drops of my oil, and then I take, let's say, well, this one's Lady Scleral. I do use this one also because it smells like perfume. And I might do 1 drop here and just rub it together and then just put it on my armpits. That's exactly what I do for a lot of different oils. But lemongrass is one of them I use in my armpits as well, because of the fact that it does promote healthy lymphatic drainage. And we want that when it comes to breast health and circulation. Lemongrass in particular can be a little bit, it can burn a little bit. So you want to make sure that you use it in a carrier oil. Don't just put it on by yourself. And of course, you know, as always, disclaimer wise, if you're not sure how you respond to the oils, err on the side of caution until you are sure how you respond. So moving on, we've got the Thieves. And of course, we just finished talking about that. And Thieves, I honestly, I use it so much. I use it in my tea. I used to drink coffee, but now I'm off coffee. I've been off coffee for about 2 months now. And that is definitely one of the things that will help your liver. And this sounds funny, and some of you might get grossed out by it, but I often would say to my patients, you know, no coffee in the pie hole, only the butthole. And everybody would laugh at me, but it's the truth. Because coffee going down in your mouth goes directly to the liver and blocks so much detoxification. It will help you, it will make you not lose weight. It will give you migraine headaches. It will disrupt your hormone patterns. In addition to the fact that coffee is very, very moldy. And we're going to talk in a minute, well, not a minute, but a little bit about coffee enemas. So just get ready for that. I'm preparing you guys a little bit. Right, Maddie?
Oh, yeah.
So Thieves is one of those that if you're not doing it in terms of, you know, because of what I just showed you with the ORAC counts, if you're not doing the Thieves, let me make sure that I'm still good here. Oh, good. Okay. If you're not using Thieves in some form or fashion, diffusing it, using 1 drop in your tea or coffee, or, you know, maybe putting it on the bottoms of your feet, just covering the feet and going out, especially in the winter months. You know, I've talked to lots of people who say they don't get sick anymore when they do Thieves or Thieves products. So that's a great one to help keep the liver and also the free radical count, to maintain free radical damage in the body. Make sure it doesn't happen, to help with that. Okay, the next one is the Ninja. I have this in my store. I have this at my home, and I use it all the time. I use the Ninja, and I also put a drop of nitro in there when I'm going to the gym. Anytime I think that I need a boost of some sort, I'll use the Ninja. And this one in particular, you know, what's not to like about it? It's got the Ninja Wolfberry, which we know how high that is in antioxidants. And then it's got plum and sweet cherry, cherry, which is incredible for joint health, liver health. There are some people that just drink dark cherry juice. It's a very, very good thing to have. Pomegranate, it's got grapeseed extract, grapeseed extract. You know, unfortunately, you can't get enough good benefits off of just a glass of red wine. You'd have to drink a whole lot in order to get the benefits that you get from the Ninja and just doing one shot in it. Some people even use it to mix you know, make a half and half, you know, a little bit of wine, a little bit of Ninja. You know, at least if you're doing the wine, you're giving yourself something good to help detoxify it. So I can't say enough good things about the Ninja Berry and the Ninja products. The next one I wanted to talk about was Royal Hawaiian Sandalwood. Now, this is one when liver spots. You know, all three of the things I just talked about, Thieves, the Ninja, Royal Hawaiian Sandalwood. I love this product. I know for some people it takes a little bit of getting used to, and it is a hydrosol. It's very light. At first it smells a little bit odd, but it smells like butterscotch to me. And now I crave it. I get up in the morning or even in the afternoon and I'll just spritz it on my face. But the one thing I've noticed about using this, if I don't use anything else, my skin looks so smooth. And, you know, I'm not a sun worshiper, but I do like to go in the sun. And I just don't worry so much about what the sun is doing to me. I try not to put all that energetic energy in the sun. And I like the vitamin D. I believe that we should nude sunbathe. You know, you should get out in the morning and let all your body get exposed. If you're so lucky to have something private like that, expose your skin and your body to the sun to get that vitamin D, to reverse the effects of all the blue lights and all the things that are going on in our environment, damaging our bodies. But Royal Hawaiian Sandalwood, I spray on my face just about every single day. And this one is, we know that Royal Hawaiian Sandalwood, along with cedarwood, are great oxygenators of the body. This one probably smells better and is a lot more expensive, unfortunately. But having said that, you know, you can get a bottle with your Essential Rewards points and get the bottle and make your own. You know, like get a little bottle of rose hips oil and do 1 drop of Hawaiian Sandalwood. You know, and also use the hydrosol, because I think this bottle is only $12, and spritz it on your face. You know, if you're somebody who has dark skin, age spots, this is a great thing to start doing, as well as the Thieves, as well as the Ninja Red. Because what liver spots are, dark skin spots, it's basically oxidation of the skin. It is the metabolic waste coming up from the liver, and your body is not able to process it. And to put it into real layman's terms, it's a little bit like the skin is rotting, so to speak. So not to, you know, I know everybody has something going on, but it puts it into perspective that if you've got antioxidants in your system, it's able to take care of that metabolic acidic waste. So then the skin doesn't have to put it out into the body. It doesn't have to put it out onto the face. So increasing antioxidant levels in your body, which is something I've said to patients for years, I put that above everything else as we start to age, because, you know, the bodies are just like anything. The longer you exist, the more amount of toxins are going to build up. And if you're somebody that's not done any detoxification, then you're going to want to make sure you fortify your system every single day. This isn't just a once or twice thing. This is every day you're going to do this. And by putting anything on your skin, like Royal Hawaiian Sandalwood, it gets directly absorbed into the body. The next one is Juvatone. Juvatone is Young Living's liver support product. And the Juvatone is, I like it because it's not going to put you in a full-fledged detox. It is definitely supportive for the liver, though. It has choline in it, which is needed for healthy cell membranes and for fat metabolism and for lipid metabolism. You need choline in order to produce acetylcholine, which is important for muscle control and moods and memories and your, you know, to keep the brain and the nervous system and the cell membranes nice and juicy and functioning. It also has methionine in it. And methionine is a major amino acid that the body uses to create and regenerate something called glutathione. Glutathione is one of those things that, let's say, for instance, you overdosed on Tylenol and they took you to the emergency room. What they would do is give you, IV glutathione or some precursor of glutathione in order to break down that Tylenol in your liver. And so glutathione does that in every cell of the body. It is one of the primary amino acids that help you detoxify. So you can take Juvatone. In a minute, we're going to talk about how I might recommend, if you decide that you want to do a detoxification, what Young Living products you might use. This Juvatone also has beets in it. It has dandelion root in it, which is extremely cleansing and clearing. I have often been known to go out and get dandelions right out of my backyard because I don't use any pesticides. Clean them and wash them, throw them on a salad, or dehydrate them so you have them later. If you're super motivated, you can actually dig up the dandelion root and then dehydrate it, crush it up, and use that as a dandelion coffee instead of coffee itself. And so now you're really detoxifying the liver. But Juvatone has dandelion in it. It also has parsley, which is an incredible support for the kidneys. And also it will help get rid of any extra water you've got in your body. It has bee propolis, so it gives you a little bit of energy. So like I said, this is a gentle support for the liver. It's not a hardcore detoxification to make you feel bad, unless you're super duper toxic, and then you might just be feeling bad anyway. So it also has lemon in it, which we know is very, very supportive to cleanse the bile ducts. That if there's any gook or any gallstones in there, it will help support the body's mechanisms to break those down. So that is the Juvatone. And then let's see, let's go on to Amegagize. So these are all things that you might want to consider regardless of what liver problem you might have. If you do have the lines in between the forehead, if you do have dark liver spots, if you do have redness in the eyes, these are all things you can pick and say, okay, I'm going to start taking this. Amegagize is one of them that I really, really like a lot for what we talked about earlier. The fact that toxins cannot, anytime I've ever done a detoxification program for people, I always make sure I give them some sort of fatty acid, so that when the body starts dumping the toxins, it has a carrier molecule to get out of. Two things that really, really make the difference during detoxification. One is to make sure you're not constipated. You've got to make sure the bowels are flowing and moving. If you start the detoxification or the cleansing while you are constipated, that's going to make things worse, and nothing can get out. And then all that happens is the toxins just circulate and they go from one place to the other, and you never really get them out. Also, taking a fatty acid like Amegagize will latch onto the toxins your body is dumping and carry it out of the system so it can't stay in there. Amegagize itself, this one in particular I like because it has DHA as well as EPA. The EPA is for muscles and tendons and ligaments and things of that nature. So joints, it will help act as a lubricant to it. The DHA is what's going to lubricate the brain and the nervous system function. And that is very, very helpful for thought processes, memories, memory cognition, and things of that nature. I use DHA whenever when there's a high stress event, like if I'm going to the dentist, and I just don't even like doing that, but I do, even just to get my teeth clean. I'll use essential fatty acids because it has a very relaxing quality to it. It will help just soothe your muscles. And I mean, you can take 3 of them and just all of a sudden you're just chilling. You know what I mean? It's not like you don't know where you're at, but you just all of a sudden just don't care anymore. So this is, you can really use Amegagize for those reasons. You can also use essential fatty acid, even if you're not cleansing. You can use it if, high doses of essential fatty acids have been known to be good for supporting people that have anxiety or any kind of depression. And this Amegagize has clove in it. So remember what we talked about the ORAC count, how high it is. It also has German chamomile, which is one of those essential acids that's very soothing and very supportive when you're trying to detoxify or cleanse the liver. So this is a definite must for me. The Amegagize, if you're not detoxing and you're just going about your business every day, you got to get a bottle of this one for sure. Lemon Vitality. This one I carry around with me everywhere I go. I like to put it in my water. I put it in my tea. I might put a drop on my salad in the oil. This is a great way. I've often said when I teach the one-on-one classes that lemon is one of those things you can't not be happy when you smell lemon. Whenever you're smelling lemon, I mean, I've tried it before. You can try to frown and then you smell it and you're like, you know, it forces you to smile even if you're in a bad mood. So it's just a really happy oil. It's yellow. It's like the sun, and anybody who loves the sun like me loves that too. But it's also good for a detoxification process or just keeping the pipes clean, so to speak. Doing one drop in the morning or in a capsule. It has very, what I found is it's great to support achy muscles or achy neck muscles. Lemon, again, is one of those things that if you use too much of it and you have a sensitive skin, you're going to, you know, your skin is going to get really, really red. And so you're going to want to make sure that you use a carrier oil. If you're going to use it on your back and achy muscles, or if you're even, you know, if you're somebody who doesn't want to ingest the essential oils and you want to just put it over the liver, you can put it in a carrier oil and just rub it over the liver and get the gallbladder, which is just to the left of the liver, and rub it on there every single day to help break. It will penetrate through the skin. It will help break down any fat molecules that are residing in and around the body area. So that is lemon. And this is a little thing that I use for people that might have dark skin spots. You can do facial steaming. When you basically boil a pot of water, and you can do this, I do this sometimes even if you have a cold or you've got sinus infection. You might boil a big pot of water, and in this case, you're going to put 2 or 3 drops of lemon essential oil into the water. And then what I do is I just put a towel over my head, and it's kind of like a little sauna, and you're giving yourself a facial. But the facial steam, you know, because it's hot, the pores will open up and you'll release all the toxins and dirt that are inside the pores, and hormones as well. You know, that's another thing that goes to the face. We'll talk about that when we get to the reproductive tract, but you know, face breaking out in the chin area is big hormone events. You know, this is usually too many exogenous hormones, too many estrogens, a lot of dairy products. All these animals have their own hormones, and, you know, unfortunately, they're getting fed hormones as well. So remember what I said, that toxins get released through oil as well as hormones. That's how they circulate around in the body as well. So when there's too many hormones bombarding your body, it will go to the sebum or the oil glands on your face, and then your body will try to excrete them that way. So this facial steaming is a really great way to do that. And you can put 2 to 3 drops of lemon in there and just put a towel over your head and let the steam up into your face. Now, remember with the citrus oils that you need to be careful and not expose your skin to the sun 12 to 24 hours, because you will burn. You will burn, caveat. So, and that goes for lemon and mandarin and tangerine and citrus vitality and bergamot, anything related in the citrus family. You want to make sure that you protect your skin. It's not that way if you're drinking the oils. If you're using the vitality oils and you're putting it in a cup, you know, and drinking it every morning, you won't burn. It's only if you actually put it on the skin itself. So with the facial steaming, I do that with a lemon, and this is great to like lighten your skin, especially if you've got dark spots. But you can also use it for the facial steaming or, you know, inhalation if you've got a cold. You can put oregano, you can put thyme, you can put rosemary, just a little bit into the water, put the towel over your head and breathe it in. You can also put it in your diffuser. That's another way you can do it, but that's more breath in. You're not going to get the warm heat by doing the diffuser. And then the facial mist. If you're trying to lighten the skin or you've got dark skin spots, you can put mix water, or in this case, I have rose water. I put a drop of rose. I know it's super expensive, so you just use, all you really need if you use rose on the skin is 1 drop, and put it in a thing and just in a bottle of something like this. Or in a spritz ball if you're spraying it, because it'll go a long way. It is extremely potent. For those of you that have the rose, you know what I'm talking about. And it's beautiful. I never used to like the rose, and now I know why. I mean, I would go and get some expensive perfumes and just hated the rose. It always smelled like my aunt's bathroom when I was a little kid, and she used to have like she had in her bathroom old perfume bottles that she never threw out, and literally I think they were there for like 30 years, and they had oxidized and turned yellow, and her whole bathroom just smelled like rotten chemical rose or something. But Young Living's rose smells amazing. It's true. My sister's over here laughing at me. So mix a half a cup. You can put water, 1 drop of rose, a couple teaspoons of aloe if you want, aloe vera gel, and 15 to 20 drops of lemon essential oil. Shake it up, and then just spritz it on your face every single morning or night when you go to bed, although lemon is a little energizing, so it may actually keep you up. So the next one, migraines, joint and muscle pain related to a sluggish liver and congestion. So one of the things in Chinese medicine that we talk about with the liver is it's related to the sinews. And that basically means it's related to anything that connects bone to bone and bone to muscle. And so, or muscle to bone. Did I say that right? Yeah. Tendons and ligaments, essentially. So when you have a toxic liver and things start going bad on you, your ankle starts spraining, your knee joint, people say, no, it was because I was walking too much. But what I say is if the liver was healthy and decongested, and phase 1 and phase 2, which are the 2 primary phases of detoxification, breaking down the toxins and then excreting them, were functioning, then you wouldn't have weak tendons and ligaments. So that's basically what we're going to talk about now, and migraine headaches as well. One of the things that I like to use is the peppermint, and Young Living's peppermint, it don't play. That's all I have to say. It is very, very strong. You can use it as a topical anesthesia. Let's say that you did, you can do the layering technique. Maybe you did pull a muscle and you want to put some Panaway on top of it to support the inflammation, and then you would put peppermint on top of it, because peppermint is going to make things if you use hot or cold on any oil, a hot pack or a cold pack, it's not going to dilute it. If you use too much of it, it's actually going to increase the efficacy and the result of it. So you can use peppermint right on top of that after you put Panaway or whatever you choose to use, and it will act as an anesthesia. It is quite strong. I've used peppermint. When I go into my spin classes, I put 1 drop in my glass. Remember, if you're going to put it and eat it or drink it, you're going to use stainless steel or glass. I put it in my glass water bottle, because when I'm in spinning and I'm so hot, I drink it and it literally just cools my inside. The other thing that I do is I'll put some on the back of my neck before I go into exercise. And when I'm in there, it's like an air conditioning unit, just beating down on my neck. It's wonderful. So using this, you can even use it over the liver itself. And this will help to cool the heat in the body down. Frankincense is another one. I have always said that if you talk to somebody that's been using essential oils for a long time, and they call you on the phone and they say, oh, I've got a sprained ankle, or oh, I have I've got a pimple, or I'm feeling spiritually down. I mean, no matter what it is that they say, and they're asking you what they should use, frankincense. Frankincense, every single time. You can use frankincense for so many things. It has a really high energetic vibration, and if it's good enough for baby Jesus, it's definitely good enough for all of us. So you can apply frankincense over any tendon or ligament, and again, directly over the liver too. Then we've got citrus fresh. You could just simply use this 1 to 2 drops in water to promote healthy liver function. And then sulfurzyme. So sulfurzyme is basically it's the glue, so to speak, for connective tissues. The sulfur is also used in one of the 6 major pathways in the process of liver detoxification. So if you're trying to support the liver, if you're trying to rebuild tendons, if you're trying to rebuild skin from damage, or just want a healthy antioxidant, because remember, there is wolfberry in this, so that's going to help increase the efficacy of the MSM that's in here. And it will, what sulfurzyme does is it acts like a cross link and will help rebuild the connective tissue. So sulfurzyme is definitely a must for anybody that has any kind of a connective tissue, joint pain, muscle, tendon, ligament injury. And sometimes it could be that the sulfation pathway in the liver is blocked, and maybe that's why you're getting migraines. You know, you have to, whenever you're getting headaches, and I know this isn't a class just about migraines, but when you're getting headaches, especially if they're the ones that wake you up in the middle of the night, if they're ones that, you know, you get up at 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning and that's definitely a liver problem, think to what it was that you ate the night before. You know, when you get those kinds of headaches, and more often than not, they're food related, it's because the liver, there's some kind of chemical, there's some kind of preservative, MSG, sulfites, the nitrites, all of the things that you see in store-bought products have a ton of preservatives that are just so congesting to the liver. Think about what it is that you ate, and maybe sulfurzyme may be a really good support mechanism for you. Juvitone we already talked about, antioxidant, promotes healthy liver function. And then the CBD oils. I mean, I was at convention and I was blown away. Honestly, I had worked the aroma share, carried a lot of books and bags, and was having a bit of neck pain, a little bit of low back pain. And I went into the convention and I did the cinnamon CBD oil, and I rubbed the Calm on my carotid arteries right in through here. And I mean, I kid you not, literally within 30 minutes, all my pain went away. It was the most amazing thing I had ever seen. So I am wild about the CBD products. And if you haven't tried them, you have to get on the bandwagon. It is just, they really are amazing in terms of body pain. Definitely the place to go. The next part that we're going to talk about is the whites of the eyes. And the whites of the eyes, as you can see in the book, it does talk about that. If you're somebody that has dry or red eyes that have veins in them, that's related to liver inflammation. Now, it might be something that you just, it may be something that you went out and had a lot of, you know, drinks the night before, you were celebrating, or it could be that it's chronic. If you're constantly walking around with dry or red eyes, liver inflammation may be the problem. Now, we talked about Juvitone being the, I'm trying to make sure I have this other slide, being a support for the liver. But the Rehemagen is more of a drainage for the body. And the Rehemagen, while the Juvitone may not make you symptomatic in terms of all the toxins coming out and you feel like, Rehemagen might, because it has red clover in it. It has poke root in it. It has Oregon grapefruit in it. It's got buckthorn in it, a burdock root. So all these things, what they basically do is drain the lymphatics of the system. And the lymphatics, what they are is the white blood cell system of the body, versus the circulation is the red blood cell system of the body. And so red blood cells are meant to bring oxygen into our body. White blood cells and the lymphatic system are meant to eat up any dangerous things in our system and also take the trash out. It's the dump site of the body. So we want to make sure that the drainage, which is why I was telling you about lemongrass, you know, putting it in the armpits. Cypress, another really good circulatory promoter. Aroma Life, a fantastic blend. Heliochrysum, another really great oil. Any of these oils to help maintain vessel and lymphatic, the cell walls of those vessels, to make sure the integrity of them stays strong. So Rehemagen has a lot of herbs in there to be able to help the body drain. And when that does that, for a lot of us, we're not really ready for that. You know, a lot of it is clogged up. You would be surprised how many systems or disease processes are because the lymphatic drainage system is not working. Nobody's ever thought to do it. Nobody really thinks about the fact that you clean your teeth every day, you wash your hair 2 to 3 times a week, you clean out your car, you clean your home, you do spring cleaning and fall cleaning, but nobody cleans the body. And so it gets full of toxins, and that's the problem that we have. So Rehemagen is going to be one of those things that's probably more what I believe is a heavier hitter in terms of getting things to detoxify. But if things are showing up in the whites of the eyes, it means that there's congestion. You know, with the veins, because the liver is a filter, it's the same thing when people have hemorrhoids. Hemorrhoids are really just a symptom of the fact that the liver is too congested. Some part of the liver is not being able to filter, and it's congesting, and all the toxins are backing up and creating pressure. And that's basically what that's all about. So the next one is carrot seed. And carrot seed is one of the oils that I use on my face too. It smells a little pungent. It's a little like really carrot seedy, if that's a word. But it's very, very good at helping smooth out the skin and also helping get rid of fine lines and things of that nature. But in addition to that, it's wonderful for the liver if you have an underactive liver. It's extremely tonifying for the liver and the gallbladder. So we really want to look at the carrot seed. You can use that, again, if you don't want to jump right into the Rehemagen and you just want to say, you know, I'm going to put a little bit of carrot seed and grapefruit on my liver, that's perfectly fine too. You can also, if you decide, yeah, okay, so you can do, I don't know if there's a carrot seed vitality. If there is, then you can ingest it. If it's not, there's a carrot seed vitality. Oh, good. So yeah, so there is. If you're going to ingest it, similar, you know, similar process. You know, just going to do an oil. You might make a little capsule. You know, I have capsules. I'm sure we all do. And we use a little bit of carrot oil. You can do a drop of carrot seed, a drop of grapefruit, and ingest it that way. A drop of Thieves. All of that stuff might be really nice every single day. But if the whites of the eyes are not white and they're blue-white, then it means that you've got an underactive liver. So we want the liver to be actively detoxifying, breaking down toxins, and excreting. The other one is if you have abnormal fatty deposits, you're going to see yellow or green eyes. Sometimes you see the whites of the eyes are yellow when people have liver disease. If somebody has jaundice, if somebody has hepatitis or cirrhosis, you will start to see the liver the whites of the eyes become yellow or green. And that's because the liver is not capable of breaking down the fatty deposits, and so they begin to get stored in the eyes. Grapefruit is a wonderful way to be able to dissolve fatty deposits and also break open toxins in the body. There's, you know, in my cellulite oil, I have grapefruit essential oil as well because of that reason. It's really good topically to put on the skin and break down fat. So moving on, let me just do a little bit of a check here. Hang on, guys. Maybe. Okay, so moving on, we've got how do you begin cleansing? What do you do? This is kind of following whatever, you know, what I've done before. In week one, what you're going to do is, you know, this is sort of what the trio, the cleansing trio is with Young Living. I think they use essential zymes, but basically ICP is one of their products that has, it's essentially a fiber. And what the fiber does is it acts like a bulking agent. And fiber will go into the large intestine and it will scrub the large intestine and absorb toxins off of the large intestine out of the lymph nodes that are lining the large intestine. And then with the detox zyme, that is a vegetarian enzyme that Young Living has. And the detox zyme is good for people that are sensitive to oils because it probably has the least amount of herbs in it. It's got the least amount of oils in it. So if it's somebody that is very sensitive, then they don't have to worry about it. But the reason, you know, if you're going to start taking detox zyme to detoxify, I would recommend taking it on an empty stomach. You could take something like 5 capsules 3 times a day. What happens is the enzymes will break down protein, and that's all that inflammation is white blood cells, and all that is certain types of protein that are made by the body. So the detox zyme will help to start breaking down toxins, inflammation, infection, anywhere you've got in the body. And then the comfort tone is the motor. The comfort tone is, I'm trying to find my page here, guys, on, oh, here it is. Okay, the comfort tone is the motor that's going to push the fiber through. So you've got the ICP you're going to start taking. You've got the detoxime you take on an empty stomach, and you have the comfort tone. Now, the ICP, when you first start it, a lot of people are sensitive because they don't really get a lot of fiber in their diet. And even though it's good for them, their body can't really handle the fiber. So what happens is they will get constipated. And you need to make sure that you are absolutely, if you're not a big water drinker, you should be drinking water, number one, because that's one way to get the toxins out. Number two, it's going to help replace some of the water that the fiber absorbs because it's a bulking agent. And so when you first start ICP, I might recommend that you don't, the serving size, it says 2 rounded teaspoons, but I would probably start with a half a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon, half a teaspoon morning and night kind of a thing. See how your body handles it for 2 days and then ease up, go up a little bit more. You know, on day 3, you might do 1 teaspoon in the morning, 1 teaspoon at night, give your body about 3 days to catch up with that. And then on day, 6, you go up, you increase again until you can get to, 2 rounded teaspoons. That's what I would recommend. I think fiber is a wonderful thing. You really should get used to having fiber in your diet all the time. For detox purposes, it's almost a must because it will prevent things from getting recirculated back from the large intestine into the rest of the body. And so if there's any bulking or constipation, the comfort tone is going to be the motor to push it through because the comfort tone has Cascara sagrada in it. And Cascara sagrada, that herb, the way it works is it will act as an irritant, so to speak, to the large intestine. So you might take comfort tone at night and wake up in the morning and feel like, oh, I think I've got a bug or something because your intestines are a little irritated and you have to run to the bathroom. But that's the nature of the mechanism of how Cascara sagrada works. The other great thing about the comfort tone is it has bentonite clay, diatomaceous earth in it, which are great absorbents. I mean, they are wonderful things to take. You'll want to make sure that you take these products away from any vitamins, minerals, medication, any food, because bentonite clay, diatomaceous earth will keep those products from being absorbed into your body. It will take everything off the gut wall, which is good if there's toxins there, but it's bad if you're actually taking something that you intend on getting into the circulatory system. So I would take it away from food by 30 minutes, and if you've eaten, I would probably wait 2 hours to do that. So what I recommend with people is that you start with week 1, taking ICP, detoxime, or if you don't want to do detoxime, you can do essential zyme as well. Essential zymes are work the same way in terms of breaking things down, only essential zyme is an animal and a plant enzyme, and detoxime is just a plant enzyme. So people that are vegetarian may not want to take the essential zyme, but those are just options. You could take detoxime. Here's another option. You could take detoxime when you're not eating food, and if you want a food to help, enzyme to help with digestion, you could take the essential zyme and take that with food. Then you don't have to worry about it. Enzymes are one of those things that as we start to age, they get denatured. We have less and less and less enzymes. So oftentimes, if you've ever known an elderly person in a nursing home and you go to visit them at dinner time, they eat maybe this much. And they say, oh no, honey, I'm full. And they mean it because they don't have that much digestion power. It's just something that goes away. So supplementing with enzymes is something that can be very powerful in terms of breaking down food. You have to have enough hydrochloric acid in your stomach in order to break down food. And if you don't, that's another problem that a lot of people have. They're not acidic enough in their stomach. Now, I don't mean in their body, but the stomach should be a pH of about a 2, where you literally put your finger in there and it burns the finger off, literally. That's how acid it needs to be to break down the protein. Because when you eat a piece of steak, you need your stomach to be able to chomp it up. Because from the protein, we get minerals and we get other nutrients. And so if you can't break it down, it's going to go into the digestive system and putrefy. And that's not good either. So maybe detoxime to help break down toxins, and an essential zyme during meals. So you do this for 1 week, and you make sure that you're having 2 to 3 healthy bowel movements per day. You should not go on to week 2 unless you're going to the bathroom. Because if you do, and then you start asking the body to dump, what's going to happen is it translocates. The toxins come out, but now they go to the kidney or they go to the nervous system, things like that. So week 2, though, is I'm suggesting multigreens. And multigreens, because, you can't get enough greens as far as I'm concerned. Let me find my multigreens page. I know I've got it here. The multigreens. Hang on, guys. Give me just a second. Well, let me move on. We talked about the Amegagize while I'm looking. The Amegagize is for when you do start releasing the toxins. Where do they go? They get pulled out by the fat. Then the Juvatone, we talked about that as support. And then we've got the Rehemogen. So between these 3, and the multigreens is basically going to give you, it's going to give you all the greens that you need. Free radical scavengers. It's going to help make your system so it's not so acidic, because one of the things that can happen when you, here it is, one of the things can happen when you start dumping toxins is the acidity goes up in your body. So it's going to be important to have green salads, green veggies, things of that nature, smoothies. Not a lot of sugar, because pathogens, one of the things we're not talking about tonight is a pathogenic infection, but that is definitely something that needs to be spoken about at some point, because pathogens create all kinds of havoc. They make you crave sugar. They make you put on weight. Without even trying, if you're dieting, I know many, many women that come in and they can't lose weight. It throws a monkey wrench in the hormone system. So having green things to make your body more alkaline versus acidity is extremely important. And that's what multigreens does. Multigreens has spirulina in it. It's got choline. It has alfalfa. It's got kelp to be very supportive for the thyroid. It has barley grass juice in it. So it's just throwing a ton of green alkaline at you. It's an easy way to get it. It's got the essential oils, rosemary, which is high in antioxidants itself, lemon, lemongrass, melissa, which is phenomenal support as an antiviral, and it has an amino acid complex to help your body rebuild tissue and cells. So I would do the week 2. I may stay on this with, you can also even use the Balanced Protein Complete that Young Living has to help with your body as it's breaking down the toxins. It will want to rebuild healthy tendons, ligaments, nervous tissue, and things of that nature. So week 2, you may want to stay on it for 14 days, 21 days, that kind of thing. I do have a book, Foundation of Youth, the First 21 Days, that is for purchase on my Dr. Seleme site that I wrote a couple of years ago, that has a lot of good suggestions, and it's got a diet plan. It has 21 days of menu. We send you the supplemental list of all the Young Living products, how to take them, how many, and things of that nature. If you're interested in doing that, you can go to drseleme.com and see that. So this is just a beginning intro on how to begin the process of detoxification if you feel like your liver is toxic. Guide to skin brushing. Okay, so skin brushing is vital. This goes back to the white blood cells. This is basically what we're doing, is making an effect on the lymphatic system, which are the white blood cells. It's where all the toxins are housed inside your body. If you look at this diagram, one thing that you always have to be, there's lots of information out there now on how to do dry skin brushing. And everybody says just brush, brush, brush towards the heart. So here's my dry skin brush. I use this one, and it's got little knobbies in it and also has bristles in it. And this is my face brush also that I use. But the dry skin brush, essentially what you want to do, a lot of people don't know this, but 2/3 of the body gets drained on the left side of the body, and 1/3 of the body gets drained on the right side of the body. So you always want to start in the areas because you're basically pushing the fluid so it can get drained down into the lymph nodes. So what you would do is you would start under, and all of this, I do have this, it might be I think it's in my Foundation of Youth book, the detoxification book, but for sure it's in the Healthy Curves book that talks about lymphatic drainage. It spells it out very, very clear. And there's a face diagram in there too that shows you how to brush the face. But with the lymph, the way you would start is you would go underneath the armpit, and you just go in circular fashion like this. You do it with no clothes on. And then if you watch the little arrows, you see the little, on the screen, you can see the little dots. That's where you go first. So you do the armpits first, you do this armpit next, and then you actually go to the groin area. You go into the groin area because that's where the lymphatics vessels are as well. See the dotted line that goes across her waistband? That is essentially dividing the body into two watersheds. And that's how the body drains, in the direction of these arrows. So if you're going to do brushing, you do the left armpit first, you do the right armpit first, you do the groin area next. Then you go up here and you do the clavicles, you do the left side, you do the right side. You then do the back of the neck, and you do the back of the knees. Back of the knees are really important. People always forget that one, and that is vital because all the lymphatics has to come back up be pushed up from the bottom of the feet going against gravity up to the back. So you do the clavicles, and then you just start brushing. You can brush I always start on the left side first. I do my whole left side first. I start brushing the armpits. From the waistline down, though, I'll brush down towards the groin lymph nodes. And in the thighs, I'll brush into the groin lymph nodes. And you can see the back of the picture. You're going to basically bring the lymphatics. It looks a little cumbersome when you first start, but once you do it, it takes 5 minutes. You know, you can either do this in the shower. You can do this if you, there are a lot of really great cellulite oils. I know I've got one in the Beauty Beyond Skin Deep book. You can make your own cellulite oil. I actually make cellulite oil and sell it. They're in the Healthy Curves book. There's 3 different recipes to make your own cellulite oil. Or you can just do dry skin brushing. Initially, I like to use the rougher bristles. And initially, when you start using it, sometimes you feel like it hurts. A lot of times, especially if you're new to it, and your skin is very sensitive. So you'll start brushing, and you're like, ow! But as you start to get more used to it, your body, believe it or not, actually craves more pressure. And you'll get up every morning and get your dry skin brushing done in a matter of 5 minutes. You know, I don't want you to forget about the face also. So you definitely want to go and do the face area. And there is a diagram how to do that. But because there are lymph nodes in the back of the head and down the sides of the neck, and it's vital that you brush those areas to get this whole area open, especially for people that have a lot of mercury fillings, implants, root canals. Lots of us in the old days, they used to just have the teeth taken out. You know, no one tried to save their teeth ever. But now people spend $50, $75, $100,000 on having things put into their mouth. And the mouth is a primary way that people get infection, primary way that toxins drain down into your body, because the teeth, every single tooth has a specific organ it's related to. Across the board, my patients that have had cancer, I have seen have root canals on the stomach meridian tooth because the stomach meridian lies along the breast area. So draining the lymphatic system, the point is in the head and the neck. You know, we're all thinking about cellulite, and this does really help. It really helps with detoxification. It really helps lymph flow. You'll notice that if you do have cellulite, all of a sudden it becomes less and less. I know lots of people that use that little mechanism that digs into their skin and breaks that up. But honestly, you know, you don't need that much. You don't need to bruise yourself to begin to make a difference in the myofascial tissue. Just doing it daily. With dry skin brushing, the biggest factor I can say that makes the difference is consistency. Not even necessarily it's great to use the essential oils, and that is going to increase your results. But even if you just do dry skin brushing, some people like to do it before they get into the shower. Other people will wait until they get out of the shower. That's what I do because I like the oil on my body. So I'll get in the shower and my skin is nice and warm and circulation is going. And then I'll put my oil on. I'll either use jojoba oil or I'll use argan oil or rose hips oil. And I'll make a little essential oil pack. I'll use, something good for my skin. I definitely use lemongrass and cypress and lavender. I love that. And just kind of brush it all over, and I just brush my skin. I stand there for 5 minutes and then I'm done. And I put on my clothes and I'm out the door. But it's your choice, whether you do it before you get in the shower, after the shower, just make sure you do it. The other thing is not to forget the hands. In this diagram in particular, it's not necessarily the hands and the feet, rather. It's not showing the hands and the feet, but they are vital because all the major acupuncture points, meridians, either begin or end on the hands and on the feet. So you can get your dry skin brush and start doing this on the tips of the fingers, and then start going all the way down, and the same thing for the bottom of the feet. I get all the toes, because the toes represents the head and the neck, and then I get the bottom of the feet, and I just start bringing them all the way up. I get the top of the feet, and that's essentially how you do dry skin brushing. So I wanted to show you some of I'll come back to this in a minute. Okay, are there any questions right now? Okay, I'm looking and I don't see any, so that's good. Okay, so what we've got is, this is basically what I use. I have my little kit. And what I do in the morning is I will, like I said, I've got my rose hips. And these are the oils that I like to use. I have my rose. Sometimes, it just depends. I might make a little bit of a serum on my own. But if I'm just feeling moved, sometimes I'll just use a whole drop of rose, if you can believe it. I do, because I love it. And I will put that and I'll just tap it everywhere. I'll get it, and don't forget your chest and your neck and all of that. All of that stuff is important. It's not just your face, it's everything that will start to get, sun lines and age. Another one of my favorite ones for the skin is geranium. And it smells really good, and it smells lovely. It's good for aging skin, for women that are over 50, anybody that wants to maintain their skin. Geranium is really nice. You don't need to use much of it. And I would recommend that you don't, because a lot of these oils they can affect the hormone system of the body. They can affect the adrenal glands. They can affect the thyroid glands. And you don't really need to overdo it. It's so concentrated that one drop is plenty. That's one of them I use. And then I also will do Seleme. Seleme is a really nice one, a really hydrating one. And you see, it kind of smells like lemon, only not as lemony. Like a lemon and a tea tree mixed together, but Seleme is pretty famous for skin. I remember one time I was on vacation and I got a massage and a facial, and there was a whole line of Seleme products. In fact, I think there's a company called Seleme or something like that, because Seleme is so good for the skin, and also clearing up any kind of pathogen or infection or anything like that. So then there's the, stinky hippie, essential oil called patchouli. And patchouli is nice, actually. It's actually people don't know this a lot, but it's really good for the skin and any skin blemishes, dark skin spots, things of that nature. I mean, any of these oils you can make in a serum all by yourself. And then there is, what else is there? Oh, frankincense. You can't forget frankincense. I love frankincense. So sometimes I'll just use this as a standalone. Yeah, frankincense is a really nice one. Now, frankincense can be sometimes a little bit burny if you don't watch it. So I might mix this in an essential oil carrier for sure. And then lavender. And most of you who do Young Living, lavender, of course, I just can't say enough about it. It's one of those oils that you can use for anything that's bleeding, burning, sore, scars. It's an amazing oil to have around, and so you can definitely use that one. Just if you've got a pimple or if you've got a rash, you might use lavender. Manuka oil is really one of my favorites. Manuka it smells, I don't know, it smells like bananas or something to me, I think. Not quite ripe bananas and honey mixed together. And Manuka has its own, it's like its own natural moisturizer. It truly is, but can help really clear up a lot of skin issues and lesions and things of that nature. So Manuka oil is oftentimes, I use this just as a standalone. I don't even put this in the rose hips or anything. I just put this on my hand and I will just pat it on my face, and it goes on so smooth. It feels just like a moisturizer. And remember, for you guys that are using the sandalwood moisturizing cream, boswellia cream, ART intensive moisturizer, you can put any of these oils in there to fortify. I do use that as well. I do use the sandalwood quite often, and I have put oils in there. I pre-mix them already, so I don't have to do it all the time. And then what else do I have in here? Royal Hawaiian sandalwood. Ugh, that goes back to the hydrosol though. But this is a great one. Sometimes I'll do that. If I'm wanting to treat myself, I'll do my super duper expensive serum, and it's Royal Hawaiian sandalwood and rose, and mix those together. That is just really increases your energy for the day. And then what else? I think that's all I've got in here for now. So those are just some, different things that you can use for skin things. Remember, we're talking about liver, and one of the places that all the signs of the liver will show up is in between the eyes. Okay, so let me keep going here. Let me go back. I wanted to, okay. Give me a second, guys. Oh, here it is. Okay. Okay, coffee enemas. So what are we going to do about coffee enemas? Coffee enema, the great thing about a coffee enema is that it can, the liver is a filter, as we talked about. The blood supply in your entire body passes through the liver every 3 minutes. And what that does is the caffeine in the coffee, and the coffee we use is very special in that it comes from South America. It's made specifically for people that have illnesses and cancers and things of that nature. And it is sold by the Gerson Clinic, who treats people that have cancers. We're not saying this is a cancer treatment. We're just saying it helps cleanse the liver. But the caffeine and the palmitates inside the coffee will increase glutathione transferase by 700 times. So that's increasing major detoxification. Toxins get dumped from the liver into the bile. Remember, I told you bile helps break down toxins and fat and things of that nature to take it out and release it from the body. So you're getting a good cleansing of the liver, a good cleansing of the gallbladder. It increases blood circulation, your immunity, tissue repair. And with the, even if you didn't want to do a coffee enema, but just doing a coffee, and I do sell stainless steel coffees at my store, also online at drseleme.com. We use stainless steel because we use oils. You can put a drop of lavender, you can put a drop of heliochrysum, and it will go systemic. You put it, if you're not going to use coffee, maybe you just want to do a water enema, or for some people who can't tolerate the thought of doing a coffee enema, you might just do a little bit of water and hold it, and put it into the rectal area with a coffee enema or a syringe, and just hold it in there for 30 minutes and let it circulate around the body, knowing that the liver, all the blood circulates every 3 minutes throughout the entire system. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use enemas, coffee enemas, essential oil in the water. Just FYI. So give me just a second. I want to switch here. Are there any questions about the coffee enema? Because that is definitely one of those things that people just wince at. And I get it, but it is so beneficial for you that it's so beneficial for you that it's hard not to recommend that. Let me keep going here. Hang on, guys. Okay. So emotions of the liver. So in Chinese medicine, every single area of all the organs have an emotion that goes with it. And it doesn't mean if you've got anger issues or frustration issues that there's something wrong with you or there's something bad with you. Certainly in homeopathic medicine, they understand that emotions are at the hierarchy of illness. And the reason why is because the physical body is, it vibrates very slowly. Everything in life has a vibrational frequency that can scientifically be measured. So it's not just me talking woo-woo stuff. It can scientifically be measured with a frequency machine. So the physical body, you know, this bottle, this dry skin brush has a lower vibrational frequency. And we know that because you can see me. I can see the table. Things that have a higher vibrational frequency are vibrating so fast that you can't see them. And emotions are one of those things. So one example I like to give is if somebody has a broken heart, you know, if anybody's ever hurt your heart or hurt your feelings or broken up with you or left town or whatever, you know, it literally will hurt in your heart, which is really weird because that's, you know, love is one of the things that vibrates so high and so fast. You can't see love, but you can feel it. And it's the same way with all the emotions. Emotions are meant to be taken in, expressed, hopefully calmly, but if not, they can cause a true blockage in that organ that the emotion is being held on to. So I know in particular, if I've ever done a liver detoxification or I've done a treatment, so to speak, on my liver with acupuncture, the next day or two can really be kind of rough because it brings up a lot of blocked emotions that were stuck inside my liver. And the emotions that go with the liver are frustration, the inability to react in life. So maybe you're somebody that you keep everything bottled up inside. You say all the right things, you smile when somebody says, how are you doing today? But you don't actually tell them, I'm not doing well, or I'm angry, or you don't tell the person, I'm angry at you because of what you did. And so the frustration is one of the emotions that goes with the liver. Suggestions might be something like valor or motivation. Perhaps valor, you know, we use that one to get courage. So you can use valor directly over the liver itself. There are a lot of ways, you know, talking about how the emotions get affected by the essential oils, you know, doing a drop of the essential oil on your hand and then activating it, rubbing it and breathing it in is a really good way. Maybe you're wanting to say something to somebody, but you don't have the courage to do it. So you're going to put valor on and then go and hopefully talk to the person calmly and begin to get the frustration out. Motivation is another one. If you're not motivated enough, and of course you guys that do Young Living essential oils or use them, you know that there's many emotions that you can use. But these are two really good ones for the emotion of frustration. Another thing that you might do is do a journal article. Maybe you want to write down all the reasons why you're angry, and then you can get a little bit more, I got to just reach down and get this book, sorry. You can get a little bit more clarity, and clarity is one that we don't have on here, but clarity is certainly one that you can use. Anger is the next one that's become toxic. So I'm talking about relationships perhaps that maybe you're in and they're not good, but neither one of you can bring yourself to leave, or friendships that aren't working anymore, or a toxic situation at a job. All of these things, you know, maybe forgiveness is at hand. Maybe you're angry at somebody in your family. Maybe you're somebody that lashes out. Calm, the CBD oil that we've just come out with, that's wonderful. Get a little bit of CBD oil and rub it either on the wrist, because that'll go right into the veins, into the head, or on the carotid arteries. Those are great ways. You can rub it around the belly button. A lot of times with my patients, the little kids that couldn't tolerate taking any homeopathic or essential oil, I would put it around their belly button. It's a really good way to absorb it and get it right into the system as well. Lots of energy going on in the belly button, and not in the belly button, but around the belly button and the solar plexus. That's our center of chi, our power source. So those are two really good sources. The other one is repressed anger, seething. So that goes back to maybe a little bit of frustration. And you can certainly have all of these, you know, going on at the same time. It's not just one or the other. But repressed anger, something like release directly over the liver, is a wonderful essential oil to use. And frankincense, very high vibrational frankincense. You can use that in meditation. You can use it as source of, carry it with you, make a roll-on with it. and put these two together. You might put this at that liver 3 point on the foot that we talked about, or perhaps you're going to put this on a VitaFlex point every single day before you leave the house, or at night when you go to bed. Maybe you'll use frankincense in prayer. Perhaps you'll diffuse some frankincense while you're writing a journal article to somebody or to yourself about ways to release emotion and why you're upset. Aggression. So this is like possibly physical violence. Maybe somebody getting in your face, pointing their finger at you, or you do that to somebody else. Chronically impatient. Peace and calming, stress away. These two are, when I first got into Young Living, it's the reason why I did get into Young Living, because I loved the oils so much. I could not get enough of stress away. I used to say that a bottle of champagne and David Beckham and stress away and me on the beach and I'm all good. Life was good. I love, love, love stress away. So this is one that you can put a rollerball on and just kind of go for it. So those are the emotions of the liver. Of course we know about Savvy Mineral, and right now this is a little bit of the PowerPoint that I've created for you guys. But the Savvy Minerals, the thing that I like about the Savvy Minerals is that they are natural. We know they don't have any harmful fragrances, no bismuth, parabens, petrochemicals, all the things that the reason we don't buy from CVS or any of the department stores. But what I found with the minerals, they're so versatile that you can kind of use them on, maybe you've got liver spots, or maybe you're trying to cover up the fact that you've got lines here or on the forehead or blemishes because the liver hasn't been detoxifying the food. The Savvy Minerals line is extremely, extremely forgiving. It diffuses light, so you can't really see the dark circles or the lines. But there's also something about the mineral lines that I actually find helps promote healthy skin, so to speak. It's a really, if you haven't been using the Savvy Minerals, I would highly suggest to start, because it really does help begin to heal the body. No question about it. Okay, let me see something here. Okay, so the area between the eyes. So the area between the eyes is right in here. And you will literally see, I know a lady who's got so much frustration in her life, she's got red. And I know it's probably because her liver is but it's just constantly a red rash right in between her eyes. And you can look and see here. Let's start back here for a minute. If it's green in between the eyes, it's toxic anger, meaning anger you've held on to the point now it's just kind of going moldy in the system. So detoxzyme might be a good enzyme to help start breaking down, clearing the liver so that the emotions can go through the liver as well. Red, if you have red in between the eyes, it's inflamed liver. You might want to use something like Juva Power. Now, this is not Juvatone. This is a vegetable powder complex that you can take. You can actually even open up the capsules and put them in your food, use them as a seasoning, but it's high in antioxidants. So this is a very, very good thing to take. And this will begin to deflame the liver, so to speak. Swelling. If there's any puffiness or swelling in here, you might want to use GLF. It stands for gallbladder liver function. Grapefruit, ledum, heliochrysum is in here. This is a wonderful, it is a bit expensive and a bit pricey. So this is one of those that you might want to just dilute and put in a carrier oil and then rub either over the liver or rub it on the face itself. Or rub it on liver 3, the liver 3 point. And if it's dark in between the area of the eyes, it is exhausted. It's an exhausted liver. And there's really nothing better than what I call the juice. It's a potent whole body overall wellness antioxidant system. So, and one of the things that I also wanted to talk about, I forgot to talk about, was Clary Sage and Progessence Plus. I really like the Progessence Plus. I mean, these are for the lines on the face, and we'll talk about this also during the reproductive, but since we were talking about the face in general, I like to use Progessence Plus on any area that seems extra wrinkly or any area that possibly, as hormones begin to get imbalanced, you're going to start to see facial hair and things of that nature. Some people will get one spot that has chinny chin hair that will grow. You can use this right on that. You can use Progessence Plus over the lip area if you're starting to get striations over the lips from lack of ovarian function. So you can use this on the body, and it will really help make the skin look more plump and juicy, as well as clary sage. Clary sage is one of those plant-like estrogen hormones that if you're going to make one of your face oils or a serum, you might put a drop in there. Because a lot of the reason why the skin begins to sag and get aged looking is because there's not enough hormones in the system. And so clary sage can act like a replacement for the estrogens. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to talk with you guys about tonight. I think I may have covered things. Maybe I was talking a little too fast, but let me just kind of open up. If anybody has any questions about anything that we've talked about, now is a good time to ask. And you don't, you know, some of the good times while we're talking about detoxification of the liver, some of the good times to detoxify, the liver's high point is in the springtime. So a lot of times I have people start their liver detox when March and April come around, because the energy of the liver is very high then. And so it's a lot of support as your body is dumping toxins, and you just feel better. You know, spring, you're getting rid of all the old worn out winter toxins, and now you're beginning to clear the pathway for the summertime. And then the fall, and we're coming up on the fall very shortly here in September, is another great way. I usually recommend to people, if you're going to start a liver detoxification or cleansing or whatever it is, that, you know, whether it's a master cleanse or you're doing a young living cleanse, to try to start it in October time. You know, do it so you can get a good 14 to 21 days in, and then you are clear for the holidays, and you're not worried about that, because that's a real definite hard time to start doing a cleanse during the holidays. So you may want to consider that too, because those are the supportive mechanisms. That's high, you know, the springtime is definitely high liver time, and then the lungs are high, and that will help expel toxins as well. Lungs are a primary mechanism of detoxification, because that's how you expel carbon dioxide, which is metabolic waste. So having said that, I think that I am almost at the end of my presentation. So if there aren't any questions, and I'm going to just check really quick here. If there aren't any questions, let me double check and make sure under the Q&A about anything we talked about. We may just end a little bit early. Okay, I think that we're good. Okay, guys. So if you do, you know, once we've ended this, if you do end up having any questions about anything we've covered, the oils or process of detoxification, or you're interested in getting any of the books, you can go to drseleme.com. If you have questions outside of this, you can send me an email at staff@drseleme.com as well. And I'm more than happy to answer your questions. I am recording this, so for those of you that came in late, and those of you that have missed it because you're across the country and it's not, you're at work still, I will definitely send you the link. So thank you all. I really appreciate you tuning in, and I will speak to you soon. Thanks so much. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.